Good morning, Philippines. Right, we're back in the barangay. This is where we are, look. See, that's the Canlan dog. It's a Canlan dog going all the way over. Right, long time since I've rode up there. Right, UK, England. Guy goes to work in the morning, and it's a good morning from the Philippines. Can't tell you where we are. We're in a secret location. So, got mistake. You bet your ass. You know, got attacked last week by some dogs further up. They run onto the main road and there were 3 of the dogs, and it's a good job I had this, because they actually meant business. So, guy goes to work early in the morning and then comes back home at evening, and he's getting his tea, he's eating his food. Quite nice, it's breezy now. Forgot my hat, so I've got Joveline's hat. So he's sat there and he's eating his tea. So he's having a nice bit of food because he's been working in a factory all day. UK, England. So what happens? Well, his wife comes and she says to him, you know, I think it's time we split up, and I think it's time we parted. I'm not very happy with this relationship. I'm just watching here now. There was a dog here last time. Right. Yeah, they are that dangerous, dogs here in the Philippines. They really are that dangerous. Right. So she wants to split up. They've been married 40 odd years and they have an argument, and she gets a suitcase, packs it and she leaves. And anyway, next day he goes to work. He's a little bit depressed and tells his mates about it. And then he comes home at night. So he comes home at night, morning, and he sees his wife and she's with boyfriend, and she passes window. So he looks out the window and she walks past window with a new boyfriend, and they're going at club. So they're going to a club, and later on at night before he goes to bed, they walk back past from the club. And anyway, he gets quite depressed, and this goes on for a couple of weeks. You know, they keep walking past his house and they're holding hands. Now, this is his wife who has been married 40 odd years. Have a look. It's just RMX. Morning. Morning. So, his wife has been married to her 40 odd years, and they walk past. So every day when he comes back from work, he sees his wife holding hands with this guy what lives down the road. So one night he follows them back from club, and he follows them to where they're living. And then he goes home, and he's really depressed at this stage. And what happens is, and I mean depressed, because his wife keeps walking past. You know, everyone can see this, and everyone talks, don't they? You know, Marites, everyone talks, gossip in England, and walks back past, and this is every night. And he goes and buys a shotgun. So he goes and gets a shotgun. I can see where I went last week from here, and it was quite dangerous. I turned back, I was down here, and the other side, I was over that side there, near them trees. And I came down side of them trees, and I walked into I could see it weren't very well trod, and I got a really bad feeling. I thought, better turn back. It don't feel very safe here. And I didn't know if there were any dogs. So he goes and buys a shotgun, and then wife and boyfriend walks past, hand in hand, going to a club. And he goes round back of this guy's house, and he breaks in window, gets a crowbar, breaks in window, and he sits there in this guy's house with a shotgun. So he sat there thinking about life probably, and he knows what time they leave club because he's followed them home. He sees them every night walking past his house, and like I said, very depressed now, this guy. And he sat there and he looks at his watch, and it's time. He knows they're going to be there any minute now. And door opens, light comes on, and he sat there with shotgun. So they're staring down the face of a shotgun. And a big argument, according to neighbours, a big argument erupts. Boom! And he kills the guy. And then, boom! Another shot, and he kills his wife. And then he turns his gun round. I hope there's no music down here because it'll spoil my video. Then he turns the gun round, puts it in, and boom! Turns the gun on himself, kills himself. And, you know, where am I going with this? So the blown his shot wife and his shot boyfriend. He's blown him away, and you know, and then he's turned gun and shot himself. Because very, very depressed. Morning. Morning. So he's very, very depressed. Well, he were depressed. I suppose that were a big pill to swallow. So, you know, I was thinking, and I'll put it this way, when I actually lived in England, well, can't hear any music. I actually do live in England, UK, England. When I actually lived in England, you know, this will be the same with some of you guys. There's always... See, I never had any real friends in England. I had one or two, and then I had quite a few who I knocked around with, and they didn't turn out good friends, and they were backstabbing friends, and you could not trust them, right? They only ever come to your house when they needed money. That's the only time you saw them, and that was, you know, most of them. I didn't have many friends, like I said. One or two trusted ones who I could trust to a degree. And this is what I found. I knocked about with some guys and they were millionaires. So they come from the streets of Barnsley, streets of Doncaster, streets of Manchester, and around, right, streets of Sheffield. And these are where these guys came from. And they were millionaires. Well, you guessed it, they come from Barnsley, the millionaires, have got a lot of money. So, what score? Let this bike get past. Morning! Morning! Right, so, you know, and you thought these guys were your friends, and you thought they were good friends. And like I said, they run about in Porsche 911s, they had Mercedes, they had BMWs, they had super bikes, you know. And they'd all got big money, big stone houses. Not one big stone house, you know, I might have 20, 30 big stone houses. These guys were millionaires. And you thought they were friendly and they were good guys. And they were there for you, but they really weren't. And it turned out they weren't very good friends at all. And so they've got all these fast cars, they've got these big stone houses, they've got land. Good morning! 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 Right, that's my orange hat. I forgot my hat. Like I said, I've got Joveline's hat. So they were scumbags. You know, they really were scumbags, and they thought they were hard. There were one or two of them what were very hard. You know, they could angle it. I think I had a fight with one of them. And he were a bodybuilder, he were steroid, and I had a bit of a punch up with this guy, and he weren't that hard. He were big on steroids, but he weren't that hard. You know, he were okay in a group with all his friends. But don't get me wrong, listening for that music, don't get me wrong, some of them were hard guys, and they all carried guns, which was very, very illegal in England. And, you know, because they got these big houses, they've got all this money, And I'm talking carrier bags, bin liners full of money, and they weren't to be trusted. And I dare say, and I've had quite a lot of arguments. Morning, morning. So I had quite a lot of arguments with these guys, and there were quite a lot of guys who sucked up to these guys, you know, because they'd got all this money. I didn't do that. I never did that. If something didn't suit me, don't get me wrong, I used to do a lot for these guys. You know, I were a friendly guy. I did a lot for these guys. And this is what type of people. I mean, when you're young and silly, you're learning, right? You learn. And what it was, there's another motorbike. So, you know, you forget where you are with all these motorbikes flying past. So, morning. So, these guys, like I said, they've got all these houses, they've got all this money, and they always tried to get one over. They always tried to get one over. Right, you were okay staying where you was. If you had a little money, you had a crappy little car, you know, you were okay there. They like that. They were very happy that you had that. And they had Porsches and they had 911s and they had Ferraris and they had everything in money, and they'd got 3 or 4 girlfriends. Now, they didn't like it. If they saw you rising and they saw you got a nice bike, they didn't like that. And this took a lot of learning. You know, it took years to learn this. Who your friends are, your true friends are. You know, and they didn't like it. If you started to rise, they just didn't like that. And what happened was, wanted to get one over on you. You know, and they thought they were clever and they thought they were smart. And then you learnt what they were and you thought, well, what a scumbag. These guys are really crappy, nasty. They're not good guys at all, are they? They're just users. And that's what a lot of them was. They were just users, right? Just user people. They'd use you for money. They'd use you for their ill-gotten gains. Right, I can see a dog. I'm going to cut camera in a minute. Because I know it's quite dangerous, this one. Right. So how did they get one over on you? Because they didn't like it. Now you've got a nice car. They don't like that. You've got a nice motorbike. They don't like that. You're a nice guy. How do they try and get one over on you? Well, because he's got a BMW and he's got a BMW, he's got a Porsche, he's got a big stone house, 20, 30 stone houses, and he's got stone houses, and they've rose from nothing very, very quickly. Your woman, now if you had a girlfriend or you had a wife, they'd try and, how can I put this politely, they'd try and screw your wife behind your back. And that's what type of people there was. And why I'm actually chatting about this, you know, that's what they were, just little backstabbers, little game players, not really very big tough men after all. And, you know, they needed each other's hand to be held. They couldn't do it without someone holding the hand. I've never had anyone hold my hand. I don't need it. I'm one of them people that can do it without anybody. Like I said, I never had lots of friends. Never really trusted people when I grew up. So, he's moving. I need to concentrate now because there's a dog. Hopefully there's no music. Let this motorbike get past. So that's what they tried to do. Good morning. So all these ladies are out in the province, in the middle of nowhere. I'm going down to the river. So that's what they used to do. They try and screw your wife, they try and screw your girlfriend, and then they'd brag it off, you know. They were big men, they had to try and brag it off. And you could see, wow, they weren't really nice guys at all. And I found this actually on YouTube. I'm going to cut video here because there's a dog. We passed that dog. He started to yap. Like I said, they really are that dangerous dogs here in the Philippines. And so that's what they used to do. Let me take this off, I'm sweltering. So that's what they used to try and do. To put it politely, they tried to sleep with your girlfriend, meet your girlfriend behind your back, and they really were crappy guys. And some of them got the comeuppances, and some of them did, you know, they really did cop for it along the line. What goes around comes around, and some of them really did get a good beating, and I mean a good beating. And it's what they actually deserved. So that's, you know, haters, comments on YouTube. So comments on YouTube, we're not far off river. And let me just get my stick. And that's it basically, you know. Right, comments on YouTube. That's what I actually found on YouTube. You know, you actually get, or you get hateful people making these comments. And hey, he's okay. Oh, she's okay. Right. So you get hateful comments on YouTube. And some of these guys think they're big and tough and they think they're clever. And you can see where comments going. Some of them start off friendly, and then you can see little bits of stigma, little bits of toxic, you know, in these comments. And you think, I know this guy's actually going to start to go. So you know where the guy's going to go, because you know with comment you can actually see with comments. So it looks like I said, it looks like it's a bamboo place. So she's there, look, she's laid down. So you can actually see where some of these little hateful people on YouTube that make the comments, you know, whether they're women or men, you can see where they're going with these hateful comments. Then they start to try and play games. And sometimes I'm a fool, because I actually, you know, do answer. Can hear music, let me stop here, let me move here. So, you know, sometimes I think we'll get away with music. Morning!
Morning, my friend.
So, you know, they start to play these games, these little fools. Right, so they play these games and they start to be, you can see the thing, well, what a petty, crappy guy. You know, and they make these little comments, and then they try to go behind your back, and then they go on to your subscribers. And what they actually do, they start to chat to your subscribers as though they're running channel, and they start to say things to your subscribers. Now, to you subscribers, my subscribers, you know, thanks for the I'm listening to this music. I hope we're getting away with this music. Right, so you know, subscribers, morning. So that's what they do. They come on your channel and they start to say things, and they start to think they're running channel, and they think they're important, and they just make stupid comments. You know, if you say you know, or you said you know 7 times, I think, really? I'm sure you'll get over it. So people in general, you know, if anyone actually does come onto your makes a comment onto your profile, they think they're clever, they find you on Facebook, and then they start to chat to you as though they're a friendly type of person, but they're not. They end up a malicious person. Let me know, then I'll block them. And that's what I would say to you guys. If anyone actually, any of my subscribers, or not, probably not subscribers, people that follow my channel, you know, if they actually come on to you and they start to say bad things, and they start to say bad things about me to you, yeah, it's entirely up to you what you believe, but, you know, block them. And if they're really bad, report them. You've got it, report them. And then if they start to bully you and they start to say bad things, that's cyberbullying. So report them. You know, don't mess around with fools. I mean, me, I won't report them. I'll just block them and I'll ignore them. But to keep you guys, there's music. I'll chat later, there's always music. Like the music stopped for a little while. It's not very loud, but it's actually stopped for a little while. So, you know, it's a lovely place down on the river, and I'm not doing a lot really. I'm just sitting here, and I've got my feet in this nice cold water. You know, didn't sleep very well last night, and then I were up early this morning, 6ish, just past 5ish. And you know, because like I said, we're a little bit busy this morning. You know, we've come into Mercia, so you know, not a lot to do really today. Hopefully I can get into College City. I do not enjoy riding into College City. Right, there's a beautiful kingfisher, he's back there. So now I know kingfishers are here. I've seen kingfishers, we've got them at our place, but I don't know if he's still perched there, and I just can't see him, or he's flown off when I turn my phone on. Would it be nice to get him on video? Wow, it's can I get up here? Can't see it. Looks like someone's enjoying a nice splash. As you know, the water buffalo, carabaos. Hello! Morning! I'm trying to get you on camera. It's an hot morning. I hope I've got you. Can't see. They're there somewhere. see. Right guys, I'm walking back up now. I'll show you some of these tree roots.